Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the White Album 2 Fan Club Radio. Now, today we're doing a special episode. This is part 2 of the 2018 special CD, which came with the set included in the Comiket 95 set. So, this is Kazusa, Setsuna, and Haruki's voice actors. Let's continue on from here. Okay, let's start with some messages we've received from fan club members. Okay. The first one is from Ryo-san. Okay. Madoka-san, Hitomi-san, Daichu-san. Hello. I was there for... Why did you whisper Hitomi-san like that? Oh, I guess I should have whispered it. Madoka-san, Hitomi-san, Daichu-san. Hello. I was there for the school festival. Getting to hear all these songs live after listening to them on CD for so long was like a dream. Like, I'd actually entered the world of WA2. I had so much fun. Nice. It was interesting having Ryo-san and Ryoko-san there too, singing in parent-child pairs. The Ogisas were cute as I imagined, while the Tomas were more dark. You could really feel the bonds between the characters and between cast members, and I'm always going to remember. Getting to hear Daichu-san sing so enthusiastically. I look forward to hearing him play the guitar next time too. Such a cool thing, such a cool concept, because throughout the game we never heard Haruki sing. If I'm not mistaken, we never even heard him hum any of the lyrics while he was playing guitar. I don't even think we got that. The festival really was a blast. Did I say that? You did. You did. You said it. Right at the end. I figured you were just caught up in the moment. Didn't I say I would try? Yeah, that you'd try. That's why everyone... Yeah. I made absolutely sure not to say I was going to play the piano. And then I heard that. Could you imagine her learning piano? Actually, no. A lot of people get inspired by anime, like to the point where they change their lives for it. I mean, honestly, having come to Japan, I feel like I was pretty influenced by anime from an early age, which led to the interest in Japan. Being a voice actress on a game like this, voicing a character who plays piano, I wouldn't even be surprised if she started learning piano. Well, there has to be equivalent exchange, though. Equal terms. What's that supposed to mean? Also, this came up during the event, too, but I'm super hopeful for a second season of the anime. To the ones who can make that happen, please do your thing. So, right. Wow. I'd love them to do a second season, but about the guitar? Oh, what about it? The guitar at the very beginning. Yeah. When we were doing that sort of reunion of the school festival show. Oh, right. When we were doing that. Yeah. The guitarist and the keyboard player at the back. Yeah. They were playing live. Right. And when the solo in Sound of Destiny came up, right, I went, let's go, Haruki-kun. And Tamu-san really attacked it. That was part of the direction, but I was imagining that it was actually Haruki-kun. Right. And Kazusa was playing the keyboards while I sang. This is such a funny thing, okay? Because Yonezawa-san voices Setsuna. And she sings, and Setsuna sings. So she kind of became that character. But for Haruki and Kazusa's voices, they didn't actually play the instrument. So during the reenactment, they weren't actually playing. It was only Setsuna. Of course, with the people behind her while they were also on stage, but not the same. Yeah, like that. I wasn't feeling any nervousness from Tamu-san, though, were you? Well, maybe he was playing up some nervousness as a part of his direction. Stop talking about directions. Anxiously watching over us. watching over everything. Like, the scene was being recreated. Right. Yeah. I thought of it as Haruki-kun playing. Right? So, even though the keyboard player was a guy, yeah, I imagine that Setsuna wished Kazusa were a boy, so she turned into one. Wow, that's deep. Oh. These scenes were always the most heartbreaking to me, because, like, just be with her kind of thing, you know? Whatever, I get it. Setsuna and Kazusa are straight as a board and dumb as a rock because they're both in love with Haruki, but if it had worked out that they were also into girls, my god, so much drama would have been avoided. That's how I pictured it. Like, I had no idea. Just in my head. So, if Kazusa were a guy, she'd be Kazuo? Kazuo. So, Setsuna's thoughts of Kazuo were... her thoughts were made real. Projected like that. Like she'd actually transformed. Yes. Wow. Again, this was just a notion I had in my own head, so I was thinking if Kazusa were a boy, he'd probably still be really good looking. Oh yeah, he'd be hot. So blunt, so funny. Because I don't think you would ever hear Kazusa just straight up being like, he's hot. You know, she says some vulgar things, but it's not like, I don't know, it's not like slang vulgar. Not vulgar, it's not slang flirting. So to hear her voice actress saying this is just so funny to me. But then Haruki-kun started growing his hair out pretty long. Yeah, he has. That Haruki, a few years later. That's a pretty serious change in a few years. Granted, your hair grows a lot in a few years. So the change is pretty gradual, although it's drastic. Well, the guitar, actually, Naba-chan, yeah? You've played the piano a bit a while back, right? Yeah, but it was seriously only for a year or so. Wow. A year is a pretty long time compared to nothing at all. No. Hang on. What? Kazusa is a prodigy. Of course I couldn't play that. Which is a pretty good point. Even if she had trained enough to try to play the piano at the school, the Live and Talk concert, it probably wouldn't have been at a level which was representative of how good Kazusa was. And it could have broken the immersion. Although I guess having a completely different person kind of breaks the immersion anyway, but still. I'm speaking from the standpoint of someone who's a complete novice and started from nothing. Ah, you're Haruki though, so it works. Yeah. Kazusa is supposed to be a genius. Me just playing like, yeah, wouldn't. Well, in the worst case, you could just keep your hands hidden a bit. It's really cool that she can play the piano, though. I have, but... Oh, Naba-san, you've played the piano on radio segments before? I have, but I'm not totally sure I would call that playing. But I mean, Todokanai Koi as a song? Yeah? Thinking about its difficulty level? Yeah. I feel like maybe, that's the one I could actually try to do. Huh. Yeah. Sound of Destiny would be impossible with that solo. Yeah, literally every time I listened to Sound of Destiny, I was like, there's no way Haruki would be able to do this. Like, not to say that nothing is impossible. That's what I do want to say. Nothing is impossible. But in the time crunch that they had, Haruki nailing that solo with no mistakes, I'm sorry. That wouldn't have happened. I thought that was pretty unrealistic. Yeah. Is there anything all three of us could do? I can't think of any. I don't know. Yeah, Setsuna, she's like, I could do anything. I can sing anything. That's not even a problem. Well, but like I was saying, Todokanai Koi has the solo, but it's easier than the Sound of Destiny. Right? So, going by process of elimination, but if it were the acoustic version, it would stand out even more, so probably I wouldn't even be there for the acoustic version. Oh my god, it's true. There's no keyboard. There's no sax. Just the acoustic version is so pretty though. I really do love it. Just humming. The chorus. Really though? I guess we'll talk about the event more later, but powder snow? When I was watching that from the wings, that was the biggest moment when I thought, that's Haruki. Yeah, when it was just two. Just the two. Oh, but I'm not raising the bar or anything. Right. Just the two of us. Yeah, it was like the two of you alone. And we were looking each other in the eye to get the timing and everything, so yeah. It seemed like our own little world. Yeah. Flirting? You don't look happy about that. Not happy with the flirting. How could you not be happy about the flirting? Shamelessly flirting. It was Tama-san. It wasn't actually Haruki-kun. Also, we'll be able to talk about that later on. Ah, right. Yep. Oh, right. So our solo parts at the very end when we all sang Todokanai Koi? Yeah. Taichu-san, you were amazing. Yeah, the audience went crazy. It seemed like it. I got a lot of responses afterward. Yeah. They were pretty varied. Right. And surprisingly good overall. Honestly, though, good for him. Not him as Haruki, obviously, but him as a voice actor, coming out of his comfort zone to do an event like this when he didn't even sing as part of the game, right? That wasn't even part of his base repertoire as a voice actor as part of this project. But the fact that he was well received after going out on a limb and doing it, that's super awesome. Like, I'm just very proud of him for doing it in general. Yeah, it was awesome. I thought some of them might make fun of me, even if they didn't actually mean it that way. Since the performers were teasing me, I thought the audience would too. But they didn't at all. They actually started shouting and cheering. Your singing made them do that, Daichi-san. Well, that's such a beautiful response, actually. I just want to zero in on that for a second. He was so worried about being teased because, the performers are people that you're acquainted with. And a lot of them are your friends at this point, right? Yeah, they're going to tease you. They're going to poke fun at you. Whatever. That's normal, I think, for showbiz. But the audience was cheering them on, and she's just like, your singing made them do that. That is like the nicest thing she could have said. That's so Setsuna. That's literally a Setsuna Haruki conversation. She's just so good at bringing people up. And I mean, there was probably something significant to them about Haruki singing. Yeah, maybe so. But the thing about Haruki singing, everyone, the audience, I mean, they were all seeing it as, everyone was seeing it as Haruki singing, right? So I thought I needed to search for some kind of way to make it feel like Haruki himself was singing. Yeah, but when I actually did it, I just tried as hard as I could to do it well. Which, realistically, is something that Haruki would do too. I mean, you did. You did really well. Way above average, I thought. Yeah, I mean, for a guy, that's kind of a rude thing to say. That's kind of a Kazusa thing to say. See, I can come through when it counts. Right. Right. Seriously. Also, I mean, when the accompaniment is such, yeah, that all you can really hear is your own voice singing. Yeah, it was pretty quiet. With it that quiet, I knew for sure I couldn't go out of tune. Right? That would be a nightmare. At the end of the day, I think it would have been kind of funny. Not funny in like a making fun of him kind of way, but he goes up on stage as Haruki, and then he starts singing off key, and everyone's like, oh my god, Haruki can't sing. That's kind of funny. But a little bit mortifying if he had really tried to do his best, and then they were laughing, then that's just sad. While we were rehearsing, when we were putting the final program together, everyone suddenly started looking at me. And I had no idea what was going on. Well, actually, at the rehearsal the day before, I was talking about your positioning. Everyone was going to fade out, which would leave me by myself. All pretending to sing, but not actually doing it. Right, exactly. I went, come on, we should all sing. I told Naba-san we should sing together. We did. We did, but that was the rehearsal before the actual show. The last rehearsal. And Naba-san went, hey, we should have Daichu-san sing. Dude, I've said this before, but I love this background information. Like, I love getting to learn these little tidbits because that is so cool. The final rehearsal, and they're suddenly like, hey, let's have him sing. That's amazing. That's an incredible story. I had no idea what you were scheming, so at first, I thought everyone was looking at me like, come on, sing, you're supposed to. I assumed that they couldn't hear my voice, so I put a normal level of effort into it, but you put a lot of effort in. Well, I was just wondering why everyone was grinning at me. Now I know. Yeah. So I really prepared myself. Yeah, that's good. And yeah, that was good. So we got a lot of mail, right? People wanting to know if it would be made into a CD. Right. We did. Maybe that's something we could add? Yeah, a Haruki version would be nice, right? So now people want me both playing guitar and singing? Isn't that a good thing? Yeah, it's definitely a good thing. I love singing. Right? So, I mean, if the opportunity arises, wouldn't we love that? I mean, honestly, I hadn't thought too much about a Haruki track being on a CD, but now thinking about it, it sounds pretty good, Because they've done CDs which were sung in Setsuna's voice, they've done CDs which were sung in Kazusa's voice. Honestly, I think it would be kind of cool to hear one in Haruki's voice. I think it would add a very different perspective to a lot of the songs. Even, oh my god, Torokanai Koi, sing it happily, right? Sing it happily now that you've got with Kazusa and pretend it's a good ending. Or sing it like really horribly because you're just missing her so much and you're in this relationship that, you realize is, I don't want to call it second best, but some of the endings really push home that like this is second best, like Coda Normal. Not good. Not the worst ending, but not good. I feel like you don't really get people wanting the protagonist of the game to sing very often. Yes, seriously. You're right. To the players and fans, I guess I've become the Haruki that they constructed out of my voice. Yeah, good point. I mean, yeah. Haruki was the one who wrote the lyrics to Torokanai Koi to begin with. Exactly. So isn't it cool to have him singing the lyrics himself? Right. Yeah, now that you mention it, the idea that the character's own feelings were contained in it, may have been something people really appreciated. Yeah. I mean, there were people who said they cried. Oh my god. I am a musical crier, right? If I go to a concert and I hear a good song or something that's like really professionally played or just emotional, I will cry like immediately. So any of these songs, but particularly hearing Haruki's voice actor singing to Dokanai Koi, oh my god, I would have been bawling. Meanwhile, we were just beaming while we sang. Like, yay, it's the last song, we're at a festival, woo! After the last solo was over, Nama-chan shoved me hard, like, all right, move. One last bit of programming. The mood on stage must have been completely different from the mood of the audience. Which, I guess in the game when that sad things are happening, the audience is sad too. It's pretty much 90% sadness. Move! I was sort of blissed out at that moment. Like, this is nice. And then she pushed me. Hey, we're done. Right? It was a little brutal. Because we were going to give out the autographed balls. Yeah, they told us they wanted us to come back. Right? There was that. All right, let's move on. Right. Oh, how I live for autographed merchandise. Very hard to find, but when you find one, very good feeling. Let's see. This is from Alonso Chika-san. Yonezawa-san, Nabatame-san, Daichu-san. Hello. Hello. Awesome work on the school festival show. You asked us to write our impressions as soon as possible, so I'm writing from the train on my way home. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. The event was more substantial than I expected, with not just the concert, but the live dubbing and talk segment too. Every song was wonderful, but Powder Snow was particularly memorable. Like Daichu-san said, it's an incredible song, the kind that really strikes to your heart, and I felt that. My personal highlight was at the very end when everybody sang to Dokanai Koi. Getting to see Daichu-san singing was fantastic. A really valuable spectacle. See, this person said the same thing. I guess so. There wasn't much in the way of Haruki merchandise, so I would love for a Haruki vocal CD. This is so true. Listen, I own a lot of WA2 merch, obviously. But Haruki, along with a few others that I could name, but Haruki merch is very rare. Considering he's one of the main 3 characters, it's very rare. You know, he's not like a beautiful woman or anything, but you would think they'd have a little bit more. To be the next thing Aquaplus puts out. Wow. Oh, yeah, there has to be. Yeah. They also said, since this was the School Festival Live 2018, I hope that means I can hope for 2019 or 2020 too. Ah. Great. That's great. Well, Aquaplus? Yeah, I wonder. Well, they did call it 2018 though, and same for the radio. Right. I can see them saying 2019 next. You can see that, right? Right. Oh, I hope these things come back. Man. I feel like COVID has honestly stopped a lot of events from happening, but I can definitely see some more events coming up because, you know, White Album 2 is getting older. Obviously, they had their 20th anniversary. Aquaplus had their 20th anniversary, which we did have a big event, and Kazusa and Setsuna's voice actresses were there as well, and that was really cool. So heading into the future, I really hope they have more live events as well. Really, though, Powder Snow was nice, but the 2 of you were being all sweet after it was over. Well, after I finished singing, Daichu-san, not Haruki-kun, came out. Right? Yeah. And he wasn't saying anything when he did, so that's sort of the mood that wound up happening. I mean, after that was done, I couldn't just walk out like, wow, that was great. It was really, I don't know, but that space I'm sure the audience felt the same way. It struck me that it would be difficult to just walk in after something that incredible. And that's true. When you listen to something that's so powerful, sometimes it's hard to find words afterward, you know? Like, you just kind of have to sit there and feel the emotions. That's part of the charm of it. That's one of the things I don't like about sad movies, sad anime, because you get a really sad scene, and then while you're still processing the emotions, it moves on. And you're like, no, I wasn't done feeling sad, you know? With the game, you can kind of stop and feel the emotions. I'm thinking specifically about Kazusa Normal because I just stopped like a million times. But it's that kind of thing. You want those to feel the feelings. That's the whole point of it. So I can definitely understand what he's saying here. They were so synchronized. So they told me to walk on when the light turned on in the wing, but I wasn't sure exactly how I was supposed to do that. So I just kind of slipped out, snuck on like that, right? I really did want to talk about how great it was. I went and checked Daijusan for tears. The two of you were acting like you were alone. It wasn't much fun for me over there watching from the wings. But it makes sense because the trio right now, okay, Setsuna is trying to comfort Haruki, who's on the stage, who just did this big thing, and Kazusa's watching from the wings. I know it's unfair as voice actors and actresses, but as the trio from White Album 2, it actually makes a whole lot of sense. Well, once we were alone, Yone-chan really did come over and start looking at me like, hey, did you cry? Did you cry? Yeah, he's crying. Haruki's always crying. I'd say it was less that I was crying and more that it had sunk into me really deeply. Sort of seeping in slowly or wrapping you up. Yeah. Kind of drifting into your heart. Wow, I'm really happy to hear that. It was like you and each string of the guitar were all singing together. Yeah. It really made me go, wow, this is amazing. Same here. Like, so much that I'm having a hard time expressing it now. It made me sincerely think I want way more people to hear this. Seriously. Wow, thank you. Well, the MC had given the closing remarks. It was awesome. For sure. So while I was singing, I assumed it was the end. I mean, I don't know that for certain. How do you not know for certain when the end is? Have you not discussed it? Right, you've been talking about wanting to do it again. I didn't know whether I would be able to do any more singing. So I wanted to give a performance that would be a fitting end. Yeah. I put my whole heart into it. Yeah. Seriously, it was amazing. I would have loved to just talk for 5 minutes, the two of us. Oh, can you imagine that? Talking as their characters. That'd be very cute. Yeah. I came out on stage left, so I was looking at the right side as I was talking to Yone-chan. Right? I felt someone just staring at me from behind her right shoulder. Which made me think, better hurry up. So I called everyone. And before we get into any more than talking about the show, because obviously this is a central part of this episode is talking about the live show, I think we will stop there for today. So, thanks so much for joining me on this radio show episode from White Album 2, and I'll be back with more content in the future. Until then, hope you take care. See you.